once Tiffany and I got back on the move, it really didn't allow for us to spend as much time and put as much energy into our relationship. I don't think the love really dispersed. I just think it was just like we weren't feeding the relationship.
Might be the type of person that never like really settles with somebody. Maybe he's like a, you know, he's like a bee going from flower to flower to flower.
You have to understand you're not going to get anybody that's perfect because you're not perfect. So understand that there's some certain things that you will compromise in choosing that partner. But as long as the core values, the values that are most important to you, that person, you know, marks off on that list, then you good.
For months, fans believed this was a fairy tale romance. Two icons, united by music, talent, and mutual respect. But now, whispers are turning into roars. Word on the street is we finally know why Common couldn't stand being with her anymore. And let me tell you, it's not the kind of story that gets tied up with a happy bow. Behind those glossy red carpet photos lies a storm of drama. Sources hint at cheating rumors, late-night disappearances that couldn't be explained, and quiet tension that kept building until the smiles became harder to fake. Then there's the proposal drama. Did Jennifer really reject a ring, leaving Common's ego bruised beyond repair? Or was it Common who never intended to commit in the first place, stringing her along while the cameras rolled? And just when you think it couldn't get any messier, the whispers grow darker. People in the industry are side-eyeing Common's image, questioning whether ego clashes and jealousy played a bigger role than anyone wants to admit. Some even speculate about deeper secrets, whispers about his sexuality that only fuel the fire. So here's the real question. Was this love story doomed from the very beginning? Or did fame, pride, and betrayal tear it apart piece by piece? Stay locked in, because what we've uncovered about Common and Jennifer Hudson is about to flip the narrative on its head. The fairy tale beginning. When news first broke that Jennifer Hudson and Common were more than friends, the internet couldn't get enough. It felt like a fairy tale. Two icons, both wildly successful in their own right, finding each other later in life. Jennifer, the powerhouse vocalist who had turned tragedy into triumph, and Common, the thoughtful rapper-turned-actor known for his smooth charm and conscious lyrics. Together, they seemed unstoppable. Common himself set the tone early on. In interviews, he didn't just talk about Hudson, he practically glowed. At one point, he even called her a gift and a blessing, saying she brought him joy and balance. He spoke about the idea of a life partnership, hinting at something deeper than casual romance. For a man often accused of being non-committal, it was huge. Fans were quick to embrace the couple. Social media lit up with messages like, finally, Common found his queen, and Jennifer deserves this kind of love. Their red carpet appearances, their cozy photos, even their casual outings screamed chemistry. It looked genuine, real, and too strong to break. But as with most fairy tales, the perfection was an illusion. Behind the smiles, the interviews, and the matching energy, something darker was brewing. Because while Jennifer may have been basking in the glow of public support, Common's history with relationships was never picture perfect, and those cracks were about to show. The stage was set, America's sweetheart, and hip-hop's philosopher king. They looked like the couple everyone wanted to believe in, but fairy tales often hide the monsters lurking in the shadows. And soon enough, the world would learn theirs wasn't the love story fans thought it was. Patterns from Common's past. Before Jennifer Hudson, Common had a history that read like a who's who of Hollywood's elite. Serena Williams, Erykah Badu, Taraji P. Henson, Tiffany Haddish, Jaguar Wright. These weren't just casual flings, they were headline-making high-profile relationships that captured public attention. And yet, time and again, none of these women stuck around. Common himself has spoken openly about a pattern that might explain this. He admitted in interviews that he was addicted to the honeymoon phase of love, the thrill, the chase, the intense early excitement that comes with a new connection. Once the initial spark faded, he confessed he would inevitably grow bored and drift away. It wasn't about the women, he insisted. It was about the fleeting high of infatuation. This confession framed a picture that fans couldn't ignore. Common was a man captivated more by beginnings than by longevity. He described it as a kind of love addiction, where the chase gave him more satisfaction than any long-term commitment ever could. In a world where lasting love requires patience, compromise, and consistency, Common had admitted he often fell short. So when Jennifer Hudson entered the scene, the question loomed large. Could she be different? Could the woman who had survived personal tragedy and emerged stronger than ever tame a man whose track record suggested he was destined to move on? Or was she simply the next name in a line of brilliant, powerful women swept up in Common's charm, only to eventually find herself discarded when the honeymoon ended? Fans rooted for the couple, hoping Jennifer's love, wisdom, and patience could rewrite the pattern. Yet for those paying attention, the signs were always there. History has a way of repeating itself, and Common's past hinted that even the brightest flames could burn out. The question wasn't whether he loved her, it was whether he could sustain that love when the initial high faded. The proposal drama. Everything seemed perfect on the surface. Common and Jennifer Hudson had been the picture of a Hollywood fairy tale, supportive, public, and often sharing glimpses of their deep bond. But behind closed doors, tensions were allegedly brewing. Rumors began circulating that Common was ready to take the next step. A proposal, a promise of forever. Sources close to Jennifer reportedly revealed that she wasn't ready. After her tumultuous past with David Otunga, the idea of marriage felt overwhelming. She feared repeating old patterns, stepping into a commitment that might leave her vulnerable again. Even though Common reassured her that he was in it for the long haul, Jennifer allegedly drew a line she wasn't willing to cross. For Common, the refusal reportedly hit hard. Friends say he felt humiliated, frustrated, and maybe even blindsided. A man who had openly declared that if he were ever to marry anyone, it would be Jennifer Hudson, was suddenly facing rejection. Sources claim this was the moment the dynamic shifted, where admiration, partnership, and love allegedly turned into irritation, disappointment, and distance. Whispers from insiders suggest that after this refusal, Common's patience allegedly ran out. The energy he had once devoted to nurturing the relationship supposedly shifted toward detachment. Some say he began to see Jennifer's hesitations not as a reflection of trauma or caution, but as a personal affront, a barrier to the future he had envisioned. Allegedly, this proposal drama marked the turning point. The man who once called Jennifer his life partnership allegedly began questioning the very relationship he had celebrated publicly. Was it the fear of rejection, the resurfacing of his own patterns with women, or perhaps a combination of both? Whatever the exact reason, sources claim that this is where Common allegedly reached a breaking point, reportedly leading to the rumors that he couldn't stand the dynamics of their relationship anymore. Fans watching the couple were left confused, reading between social media posts and rare public appearances, trying to decipher the subtle signs. And just like that, what once felt like a destined love story was suddenly clouded with whispers of tension, heartbreak, and the complicated reality behind the headlines. The alleged cheating and distractions. Even after the alleged proposal drama, whispers didn't stop. They only grew louder. Sources claim that Common was spotted out and about with other women, casual encounters that set tongues wagging and fans speculating. Some insiders say it wasn't just about physical presence, it was about attention, energy, and focus, which reportedly drifted away from Jennifer Hudson. This wouldn't be the first time either. Common has a history of getting easily distracted, especially once the initial honeymoon phase of a relationship fades. Friends and former partners have described a pattern: intense pursuit, deep admiration in the early days, and then an inevitable shift where interest wanes and focus drifts elsewhere. Rumors now suggest that Jennifer, despite her charm and connection with him, may have faced this same cycle. Meanwhile, Jennifer's social media posts allegedly added fuel to the fire. Fans began reading between the lines of cryptic captions and carefully worded statements, interpreting them as subtle hints about tension, disappointment, or frustration in the relationship. Each post sparked renewed speculation. Was Common already looking elsewhere? Was there a growing emotional distance? Critics and observers began asking the question on everyone's mind. If Common was really in it for the long run, why the wandering eye? While nothing concrete has been confirmed, the combination of alleged sightings and Jennifer's seemingly cryptic online presence created a narrative that many couldn't ignore. Insiders suggest that this phase of distraction, whether intentional or subconscious, may have contributed to the eventual unraveling of the relationship. It wasn't just about alleged cheating, it was about where his priorities allegedly shifted, the subtle signs of disengagement, and how quickly public admiration could allegedly turn into private detachment. For fans who once rooted for the couple, this alleged pattern became a cautionary tale. No matter how strong the public displays of love, old patterns have a way of resurfacing. And even a relationship that seems perfect on the surface can be quietly fraying behind the scenes. The sexuality allegations. As if the drama with Jennifer Hudson weren't enough, whispers about Common's sexuality have resurfaced, stirring controversy once again. Years ago, Jaguar Wright, one of his exes, claimed that Common had a complicated relationship with black women, allegedly using them socially while maintaining a preference for men. According to Wright, this pattern wasn't about love or connection. It was about appearances, networking, and clout. Fast forward to now, and speculation has only intensified. Some insiders suggest that Common's alleged distractions and relationship patterns may be tied to unresolved questions about his sexual orientation. While no definitive evidence has emerged, Hollywood chatter rarely stays quiet, and the murmurs are persistent. One particularly juicy story comes from a Hollywood event last summer. A guest recounted how Common allegedly spent nearly an hour exclusively talking to a well-known man while his date worked the event. The man reportedly left the interaction feeling confused, only realizing later the implications of the conversation. Observers claim that Common allegedly initiated a late-night invitation, raising eyebrows and further fueling speculation. Of course, it's important to remember, nothing here is confirmed. Common has never publicly addressed these claims, and the witnesses themselves admit much of this is anecdotal. Yet the whispers persist, amplified by social media and entertainment outlets hungry for scandal. For fans and onlookers, this adds another layer to the narrative. If the rumors hold even a shred of truth, they might help explain some of the alleged tensions in his relationship with Jennifer Hudson. It's a reminder that public personas often mask private complexities. And sometimes even the most admired celebrities have shadows that remain just out of view. Ultimately, the sexuality allegations remain just that, allegations, but they continue to swirl around Common, complicating the story and ensuring that the conversation about his relationships and his rumored preferences won't die down anytime soon. Jennifer Hudson's side. While the spotlight often falls on Common's history and alleged behavior, Jennifer Hudson's perspective adds another layer to the story. Before Common, she endured a tumultuous relationship with David Otunga, which reportedly ended with claims of jealousy, surveillance, and even alleged attempts to monitor her personal life. Legal filings revealed a battle over protective orders and custody, illustrating the lingering trauma she may have carried into future relationships. Rumors of infidelity also followed her. Sources speculated about brief flings with figures like Musique Soulchild and Mali Music, though none were definitively confirmed. These whispers, combined with her high-profile past, have contributed to a narrative that she can't keep a man. Whether fair or not, it's a perception that seems to shadow her, regardless of her intentions or loyalty. In her relationship with Common, some insiders suggest there may have been clashes of ego, fueled by differences in status, wealth, and fame. Jennifer's meteoric rise and success in music and acting may have created an imbalance that allegedly led to friction behind closed doors. Reports claim subtle tensions over lifestyle choices, decision-making, and public image may have exacerbated existing challenges. Taken together, these factors paint a picture of a woman navigating love while managing past trauma, public scrutiny, and a powerful career. The same sources suggest that any perceived issues with keeping a partner might not solely be about her. They're also about the complex dynamics that arise when two high-profile, strong personalities attempt to merge lives. Ultimately, Jennifer Hudson's side of the story reminds us that relationships aren't one-sided, and the tension between personal history and present choices can shape outcomes in ways the public rarely sees. Why Common couldn't stand her anymore. So what really drove Common to allegedly reach his breaking point with Jennifer Hudson? The truth, as always, is likely a tangled web of factors rather than a single, simple cause. First, the proposal drama. Sources say Common wanted to propose, but Jennifer reportedly wasn't ready for marriage. Her hesitation, rooted in past trauma from her relationship with David Otunga and fears of rushing into another hasty commitment, may have left Common feeling rejected, humiliated, and frustrated. For someone used to being in control and adored in the early stages of a relationship, this could have been a serious blow to his ego. Then there's Jennifer's alleged diva tendencies. High-profile stars often bring strong personalities, assertiveness, and unwavering standards into relationships. Some insiders hint that clashes over lifestyle, fame, and public image may have escalated tensions behind closed doors. Layered on top of that are Common's own patterns. He's admitted in the past to being addicted to the honeymoon phase, thriving on pursuit, novelty, and the early excitement of love. So, did Jennifer dodge a bullet, or did Common fumble a potential long-term love? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Because in Hollywood, the story is never that simple. Hit subscribe for the next explosive Hollywood scandal. You won't want to miss it.